We're rolling. All right,
We're
boss.
rolling.
Talk to me about Sweden, I guess. What a country.
About Sweden. Well, we're a pretty small country. People usually mix us up with Switzerland. Have you heard that?
Really?
Yeah, all the time. They're
Oh
like,
my
"Oh, you have
God.
such good chocolate over in Sweden." We're like, "Oh no, that's Switzerland."
That's
So
awful.
that's basically what people kind of mix us up with. I wish we had some good chocolate though. We do have like good chocolate, but it's not from Sweden. So yeah, well,
Mm.
no, but
Um,
quite a small country. We're like 10 million people here.
oh wow.
So not too many.
Wow.
Quite cold right now. We've had a cold period, so like minus 16 degrees Celsius kind of. So a lot of snow and a lot of cold winter days.
Mm. I'm not
But
very
it's nice.
often I'm very often like mistaken from being from a Scandinavian place just because I'm
Oh,
so
really?
blonde haired and blue eyed. You can't really see because of the light. It's early in the morning, but I absolutely love it. Like I spent a little time in Denmark, maybe about
Yeah,
only like 5 days or something,
yeah, yeah.
visiting a mate. What's the middle island? Is it Foon?
So we have like in Denmark, you mean?
Yeah.
Oof, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with like all of Denmark's geographics. Um,
Well,
yeah, maybe it is.
Copenhagen is basically opposite Stockholm, isn't it? Or it's opposite.
You mean like geographically, or do you mean
Yeah.
like it's both capital? Yeah, I would say like so. Stockholm is on the eastern side of Sweden,
Okay.
and then you have like the opposite one to Copenhagen is Malmö. So they are
That's
really
the
close
one.
together.
That's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So they are like really close and connected by the bridge. So you can easily, live in Copenhagen and work in Malmö if you want, or the opposite.
Mm.
Before, people
Uh,
usually lived in Sweden and they worked in Denmark because the Danish krona is worth more money, and then you'd like, travel back and forth.
mm.
It's a
It's
smart way to
expensive
go.
to live, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, in Sweden it's quite expensive. In Denmark as well, of course. Especially, of course, in the capital cities like Copenhagen and Stockholm. But like both Gothenburg and Malmö is also quite expensive if you're looking at it.
But like we were saying, it seems like your whole healthcare system is sorted out. You know what I mean? It's so much better. So you've got to take things with a pinch of salt, right? So I always think of it as I actually relate it to Switzerland because one of my oldest friends is Swiss.
Oh yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
still like in contact with him, but we've just not met up in like, fuck, it must have been like over 10 years, but we still
Oh
randomly send
wow.
each other a message. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah, yeah.
their education system, they're in education a lot longer. I think we finish education in the UK if you go to uni at like 22. I think he starts at
Oh.
22
Oh
because
really?
their high school's longer. They have to do, I think, 2 years in national service. Like
Mm.
obviously taxes is higher, but their economy, their healthcare systems, everything's sorted out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's like, yeah, you pay more, but like you need less.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
weighs itself out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why people kind of mistake Switzerland and Sweden for each other, because like I kind of recognize that from Sweden as well. We have higher taxes, and like basically, if you need something, the government will kind of provide and help you with like healthcare, and like whatever might happen, you still have, a backup from the government because you paid a lot of taxes like during your whole working life. So I guess it's like positives and negatives of that as well. But yeah, definitely quite well developed and like a good like safety net, to
Mm.
put it.
Yeah, for sure. And then they're also very clean, and that's what the impression I got from Denmark. And I hate to tar
Yeah,
every country with the same brush, right? But there is similarities. Like it's just like you go around and there's like no litter, no graffiti, no nothing. Everyone cares about
mm.
what's around them, and I'm just like, wow, this is a society you want to live in. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, granted,
Yeah,
I will pay more taxes because like everyone cares about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think like people here, kind of take pride in like where they live, and like, showing off the best sides of Stockholm and so on.
Mm.
Then there are, of course, areas where it's like a little bit more messy. But I think like when you come as a tourist, you come to like the central parts and you see
Yeah.
like what people in the city are like. And then there are definitely some really nice suburbs as well, like outside of Stockholm, that's super, pretty and has great, forests and everything. But there are also some suburbs where, it's a little bit more messy and where the police usually have a little bit more trouble. And there it might be a little bit more, litter on the ground or graffiti or whatever. But I think basically a big thing about Swedes are like we care for each other, and we like care about where we live and like our country. So we want everything to be, we want it to be clean and good, and like we want people to thrive here and like it here. And I also think it's because like we have so many months of the year where it's like cold and raining and dark, so we have to kind of have something else to keep us happy. So
Yeah.
we come up with a lot of fun things in the city to do and try to keep it clean and nice so people will like it even if it's raining.
Yeah, for sure. How cold does it get usually? Like, what's the peak of winter?
In Stockholm, it's not too cold usually, but like this winter we've had, I think, like minus 16, 17 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's like, 0 degrees Celsius is like freezing. So like 17 degrees below that. So quite cold. But if you go to the northern parts, it could be like, up to like minus 30 or down to maybe you would say down to minus 30, which is like really cold. That's where like when you breathe in, you're like everything in your nose freezes. So you get like all of those tiny hairs in your nose, they just freeze, and your lashes, they freeze, and everything is like frozen. So that's cold.
Hell no. Like, yeah, back home it gets maybe minus 10, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the worst I've seen in Manchester, which is I'm from an inner city, right? So it's not going to
Yeah.
be crazy cold. But the worst
Exactly.
I've
Yeah.
seen is maybe like minus 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
You know?
It's cold
Yeah,
for
you got to
sure.
wrap up, put your big coat on, you know what I mean? But like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
minus 30. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I actually were like I was in my cabin. We have a cabin a little bit in the northern parts, not in the northern parts, but a little bit north of Stockholm. And there it was like minus 30 this weekend, and all of the water froze, so we couldn't have, the water was all frozen. We couldn't have a shower or anything, so we had to. Luckily, I have a sponsorship from a gym there, so I can go in and work out at the gym in like the nearest city. And there they had running water, so we could go shower there. But it was like everything was frozen. It was so cold.
So what's it like training in a gym with minus 30 around? Like that's insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, basically, when I'm in the cabin, I have like a barn gym where I would work out, which is not like isolated at all. So, but that couldn't work now. Like, to breathe heavily in like minus 30, it'll probably, blow up your lungs.
Yeah.
So, but in the gym, it's like, I don't know how cold it could have been in there. Definitely like plus degrees, but cold. So you just work out in, like you can have sweatpants on top of your tights, and then you'll have like a long, long sleeved shirt on. And then when you've really gotten into the workout, you can kind of remove the outer, wearings that you have on and just work out in the regular workout clothes. But you take up some time getting warm. It's just like basically best to just start the workout and get warm.
Yeah, it's like the first few rounds of the workout become the warm up, right?
Yeah, kind of, because like when you sit down and stretch and try to get everything working, you're like, oh, it's so fucking cold, I need to get going. So you basically just jump on a bike and try to, get some blood flow in there and get warm, get the temperature up.
So then what's it like whenever you go to hot countries to compete? Like, do you really suffer from that, or do you completely lap it up?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's a really good question. Like when I've been to like Egypt and when I've been to Brazil and so on, I kind of like the heat. I've never really like overheated, but I also, take great caution when I come to hotter countries and make sure that I drink enough and that I get enough like salt and minerals and everything, because I know the risk of overheating is quite big. And since we're not used to like that type of heat, we need that. But I've never had any troubles with it. I kind of like when it's warm, because when I warm up, I get warm faster and I feel like my body doesn't feel as tight and stiff. So I definitely prefer, competing in warmer countries. like honestly, warm up takes less time, and I feel like, yeah, my muscles are just like prepared more or less. But I usually take like a lot of precautions, just, having drinks and having a wet towel to put on my head, like if I need that. And I spend all of the time like resting in the shade.
Mm.
So I have like a friend, she usually came to like a lot of the same competitions as I did. And she was like, tanning in the sun. She was like, yeah, I'm going to get a tan. And I was like, you're going to get overheated. And well, she usually manages it, but yeah, I still think I would overheat if I tried to like tan between events. That's not really what I'm there for. So
Yeah,
I just
fuck that.
hide in the shade.
Yeah, yeah. I struggle when it gets to like 20 degrees. Like I
Oh
can't
yeah.
breathe. Like I
Oh
literally
yeah.
need
Yeah.
I need 0 degrees and then I'll be able to go. Just no
Oh
problem.
yeah. Yeah.
Breathe throughout. So I have no idea how you'd be able to like work out in Egypt. Did you go to Elfit?
Yeah.
Was that
two
the one?
years.
How was that?
Yeah. I really liked it. The first year when we were there, it was in Cairo, so it was in the capital. And it was in like a big sports center, you can say. It's not even an arena. It was two different arenas, one with the big swimming pool, and one was, no, it was three different arenas. One with the sand, one with like a like regular CrossFit floor, and then it was one with the pool. And I really liked that competition. It was one of my first international competitions that I went to. I went together with my friend Lisa, and they really treated us so well. Like we had, buses coming to pick us up from the hotel. We went to the competition, and we had like all of the service that you could possibly imagine. So that was really great, and there was a lot of fun events. I really like swimming, especially like together with CrossFit things. So there was a workout where we would swim back and forth in a 25-meter pool, and we would come up and we would do like toes to bar and pull-ups and pistols, and we would jump down, swim again, come back up. I really like those kinds of workouts, so I thought it was a lot of fun. And then that was the first time where I could like really see, the professional athletes close by. So this was a couple of years ago. I think it was like 2017 or something, where like when I went the first time.
Mhm.
And then I went a second year, and then we were in Hurghada, which is like vacation resort kind of city along the coast instead. And then we had a full day of events that was situated on an island. So we actually
Wow.
didn't know where we were going. They just picked us up with buses, took us to a boat, and then we went down to the port, and we jumped on a boat and went to an island, and we were there like the full day. So we did the swimming and running event, and we did like kettlebell burpee event in the sand, and yeah, a lot of fun events. So Elfit definitely recommended. It was so much fun, and they are super professional. Yeah. So yeah,
It looks like a
one
really
of my
well
best.
done comp. Like
Oh
really
yeah,
from the outside, yeah, it looks just really just really professional, like you said. Just
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
this is what we're gonna do. Everything is executed perfectly.
yeah,
And some of the workouts look really fun.
yeah. I really liked the programming both years when I was there, because I think it's like very, varied.
Yeah.
It's not just testing one thing, because sometimes you can see competitions in the international scene that, they're well known for having only endurance, focus.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I want to go to this competition because their programming is always like endurance based. Or no, I don't want to go to that because that, it's always such a heavy competition. Everything is heavy. All of the workouts are heavy weights, and like, so
Mm.
you can kind of pick and choose from the type of athlete you are. I kind of think it's more fun. And I think CrossFit should be more about like, okay, you don't know what's going to show up, so you need to be good at all. Like, just come in here and show what you got. And it doesn't matter if it's endurance or if it's like heavyweights, you should be able to do both.
Mm. And that's the point in CrossFit, right? It's
Yeah.
literally been thrown anything at you, and you'll be like, all right, cool, I'll be able to do it. And I think, yeah,
Mm,
there should be some areas that, they need to hit. They need a heavy stimulus, a long stimulus, an odd object, gymnastic,
yeah.
all these types of things. But at the same time, you can't be guaranteed you're going to get at least one, because then people are going
Yeah.
to know what they're going to get, right? It's you could
Of
just be
course.
thrown like the regionals a few years ago where there was no barbells. I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome. That was so
Yeah, me
fun.
too. Yeah.
It's like all the
Yeah, that was really
sandbags
fun.
and what did he do? Weight
The
vest,
dumbbells.
dumbbells. Oh, the
Yeah,
heavy
dumbbells.
dumbbells. Yeah.
Mm.
Were you at that regionals?
No, not at that one. We went with the team in 2018. So we went with Team CrossFit Nordic. I've only been to, because like when I started competing, regionals was still a thing, but then when I, started becoming more professional, then regionals disappeared.
Yeah, yeah.
So like my full career as like semi-professional or whatever you would call me as an athlete, like has been with sanctionals basically. So the first year where like I went team, there was a regionals, and then to the next year they just disappeared. So that was like so disappointing to me, because like the second I started CrossFit, I started, watching all of these games documentaries, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the games, like for sure. I'm not gonna let anything stop me. But first, like my goal was obviously to make it to regionals, and then we made it as a team. And then the next year, I was like, I'm gonna go individual. I'm gonna go to the like regionals, and then they removed it. So like basically, my chance was like taken from me, and I was like, oh no, now I'll never be able to be a regionals athlete. What the hell? But then sanctionals came up, and I started qualifying for them. So I mean, even if it's not fully the same, sanctionals are really cool as well. And the variation of those competitions has been fun. And I think it's fun also that they bring the season to a much longer period of time. So you can, you don't have to be in peak form just for one weekend. If you mess something up during one weekend, you could go to another sanctional. You still have the chance. But yeah, now there's like quarterfinals, semifinals. So yeah, everything is changing again.
Yeah, it must be so hard, like being at the top of the game, and then the steps that you need to take to climb the ladder to then get to the games, and then
Yeah.
like everything just keeps shifting around. It's like, fuck, what do I prepare for? But at the same time,
Yeah.
like if there is a sport that is prepared to be able to just change every year, it's going to be CrossFit. Like at the end of the day, it's all fitness. So if you're fit enough, you will get through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I kind of feel like that as well. Like if you're fit enough, you'll get through.
Yeah. I think the sanctionals has done a really good job of making it more global and giving more opportunities for you guys professional athletes to travel. Never mind just sticking in your own lane. I'm like, oh, okay, like I was the sixth fittest in the region, or what did they brought it to 3, didn't they? Maybe the 4th fittest. Yeah, you just narrowly missed out. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Now you can go to all these different places. You can earn a little bit of cash. You're now a professional athlete. And then
Definitely.
it's a bit more of a spectacle as well, isn't it? So as a spectator entertainment, literally watching gladiators in an arena like the Colosseum.
Yeah,
Which is always
basically.
fun. Yeah. So which ones did you go to? You mentioned Brazil. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, Brazil was like, I would say that is the best competition I've been to. Like just looking at how everything was sorted and how everything was managed. Like I really liked, like I mentioned earlier, Elfit as well, like really well managed competition, but like Brazil was like next level. I have to give them all the credit. Like they gave us the best treatment ever. They had like a recovery room, unless like unlike anything I've ever seen. It was like, we could have ice baths, we could have like massage guns that we could borrow. They had like thought about like microwaves because we wanted to bring our own food. They thought about having like fruit and snacks and everything. And this was like an area where no one else could come in, so we could just like relax with our coach or whatever. And I really liked that. And they were like really professional in keeping the time and then telling you if the time was not kept, so you could like really prepare in the right moment. Because that's something that I experienced on some competitions, even at Elfit actually. Like sometimes when they're not on time, they try to speed things up. And then like they tell you, oh, we're like 25 minutes delayed. And then you kind of plan for that. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, we caught the time up, so now it's you're going to go. And you're like, no, I did not prepare for like anything. So you need to, like, if you say 25 minutes delay, you need to keep to that. Like you can't tell us that you're 25 minutes delayed and then just skip a break and then all of a sudden we're on time. You need to like tell us. So in Brazil, that was great. And I think they had a lot of fun events. That was like when we talked about, you know, like events being heavy, the programming there was so heavy. Oh my God. Like I remember feeling so trashed after day one. I was like, I can barely walk. I was like, oh my God. How is this gonna go tomorrow? And I was like so sore. We were walking back to the hotel and I was like, oh shit. Because like everything was really heavy. Like there was such heavy dumbbells in there. There was like they didn't settle for Amanda. They did Amanda on hands, so we had to do handstand walk in between every round of ring muscle ups and snatches. And like, yeah, it was like a lot of skill, a lot of, you know, heavy weights. There was like a long clean ladder, which I usually love, but like this was, you know, to the level where they had like, I don't remember if it was like 10 or 8 reps on the first bar. So not only did you need to go through like the whole ladder, you also needed to do like, you know, 45, 50 reps on a lot of like heavy weights. Yeah, so the programming was like fully crazy and fun. Like I really liked it, but I kind of felt like before when I came there, I felt like I was a strong athlete. And then when I got out of there, I was like, I'm weak. I need to build some muscle.
Did it like did it zone down or tone down after day one, or did they start doing more endurance events, or was it just full on from the get-go and just beat you up?
No, I would say like the first event was like more of an endurance event, but they had us riding C2 bikes with a weight vest on and then doing running in between every round of biking. So they
Jesus.
had like endurance events as well, but like with a weighted vest in the sun in Brazil, it was like it felt heavy, even if it was just like a bike and a run. And then I think they just ramped it up. Like day 2, we had also a crazy event that was rowing. So we had like 90 seconds window and then like 30 seconds rest to the next 90-second window. And in the 90-second window, you were supposed to do 16 cals on the rower. I think it was for females. And then sandbag cleans. And the bag was around 145, I think, pounds, like 60 kilos.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
For the
65.
yeah, somewhere around there for the females. And I remember like the first round it was 2 sandbag cleans, and then the second round they wanted 4, and then the third round they wanted 6, and then the fourth round they wanted 8. And you were like, okay, so I'm gonna row 16 calories. So for me that takes around a minute if I go like, you know, medium fast, and then go to the bag, lift it up 2 times, and then run to the finish line within 90 seconds. So I remember that event so like much because I had a poor finish in the event before, and I was really mad because I thought I would do better in the event before. And I remember like, okay, everyone is going to get to like the round of 4, but the round of 6 is going to be so hard for people to finish. And people started dropping off even at like the first round because the sandbag is really heavy. So I remember like going out for the 6th round and I was like, okay, I'm gonna row so fucking fast. They're gonna see 16 cals, like, and I rode it in like 40 seconds. And I was like, I just ran up to the bag and started throwing it. And like the commentator was like, where did she come from? And I was like, you know, going crazy. I ripped the bag and I think I finished like 4th or 5th in that event. Because I was in the second heat, so I didn't really see what the leading heat was doing. But yeah, that was amazing because it was like so hard to lift that bag.
It's like
rowing so fast.
That's like 60. Well, it's roughly 65 kilos for the ladies, and that's a significant weight to just chuck it over your shoulder.
Like, I mean, if it would have been a barbell, yeah, for sure. But like a sandbag, and also the standard for the sandbag over shoulder there was like you lift it up and you cannot rebend your knees. So you need to like lift it up and then fully lock out the knees and then flip it over.
Oh, really? So you can't like Atlas stone it.
You can like Atlas stone it, but the moment you pass your hip, you need to like fully extend, and then you can't like re-dip and like push it over.
Okay.
You need to kind of just like, you know, grab it, take it to your lap if you wanted to, and then throw it over. But if you rebend your knees or try to, you know, slip under the bag, then they would no rep you instantly. So it was really like a hard standard as well. So like fully straight legs and not, rebending under it or trying to, flip it on the side. You had to really go over your shoulder. So yeah, definitely a hard standard and like such a heavy bag. And then also all of those calories within like 90 seconds. Yeah, it was like working hard, running like a crazy person.
It's funny how like doing like worse in an event that you thought you'd do better in pisses you off
Yeah.
so much that you just nail the next event.
Yeah, I was like so mad because I thought I would do really well in some events, and like it really, like I hate that so much when I think like, okay, this seems to be kind of my jam. Oh, I'm gonna do well in this, and then people just pass me. I get so fucking mad. I was like, what is going on? Like, I really thought I would do well in this, and yeah, then that pissed me off enough to have me go really hard in this one, and yeah, I felt like that was a good mental thing for me, that I could come back from, having a really disappointing finish in something that I wanted to finish well in, and just like get over that, get into the next one, and kind of like, do a comeback.
What what do you think pushes those athletes to the kind of, or maybe hinders those athletes that they think they're going to do well in an event that might be in their wheelhouse and they don't? Do you think that's complacency? Do you think that's just like fluke? Do you think that's because I've been working on it and other people haven't? You kind of underestimate the field. Like, why do you think that that happens?
I mean, sometimes I believe like people think when they're training at home, and like they think that they might be really good at, like, let's say strict handstand push-ups, and they've been training it a lot, separate, and they think they're really good at it. And then it comes up in a workout, which like already taxes your shoulders a lot. And then it's the combination of the movements that actually tax you. So that people get surprised because they haven't trained it in that, specific way. So there, I think it can be like programming, that they haven't tried it together with everything. Like, because some movements really, kill each other out. Like if you do, I definitely know like some guys in my gym tried to do GHD sit-ups and ring muscle ups, and they like couldn't do one after doing the GHD.
Fuck.
And they were just like, what happened? And I was like, yeah, but obviously like the GHD will tax your core, it will tax everything. And then if you're doing like a ring muscle up where you use a lot of that, and you can't, use other muscles, then you're not going to be able to do it. And they were just like really surprised, because usually they're pretty good at ring muscle ups. And I mean, it's the same for like the GHD and the legless rope climb. It kind of takes out your core, and that affects everything so much. And it's the same with like strict handstand push-ups. If you're like coming in from a run or something and you're like really out of breath, it's hard to keep your midline tight, and then everything just falls apart. So I think that's basically what surprises people. For me, it's not as much that. For me, it was more like, maybe I thought I was good at it, and then people are just better. They just, trained more. And that's why I always like to come to competitions, because it's weird to say, but I like to get my ass kicked, because that gives me motivation. Like, I don't want to lose in a workout with strict handstand push-ups ever again. So fuck that. And then I'm going to train, strict handstand push-ups together with every movement I can come up with, and just train it every day until, I beat them in the next one.
Yeah, you get to reassess the standard, right? Like you think, oh,
Yeah,
okay, the standard might be here, might be whatever. We'll say
exactly.
30 unbroken. You're like, okay, cool, we'll get 30 unbroken, and then you go to the competition and people doing that under fatigue on day 3. You're just like, oh shit, okay,
this is where they're at. Okay.
yeah, and then you got to go back and
Yeah.
reassess. Yeah.
And I mean, that's the case. Like if you look now, like coming into the open, many people do open repeats, and you're like, okay, you're looking back at a score from 2013, and you're like, yeah, I would have been top 30 in the world on this workout. But then like that's, now it's like even 8 years ago, and like the level in 2013 is like, not to take anything away from the athletes who competed then, but like it's nothing against where people are now, like what they can do. So I think it's only like relevant to look, 1 or 2 years back, because people get so much better, like so much better. So even if you're improving, really fast, and like, okay, wow, I'm really getting better, the level is like rising constantly. So like there's new heights to chase.
the evolution of a sport, right? It's the
Oh
natural
yeah.
progression. And when was it? Was it 2016 when they introduced the pegboard? And there was
Yeah, I
like,
think so. Yeah, in the finals.
yeah, and there's like 3 athletes that ended up getting up 1 rep. It's just, there
Oh
you
yeah.
go. There's something that no one can do. And
Yeah.
there you go. That's now an evolution of the sport. Now
Yeah.
you have to be able to do a
Exactly.
pegboard or a handstand push up on a friggin' rings upside down like some sort of lunatic.
Exactly. Yeah, they just like make up new things that they think you should know, and then that's the way to kind of progress the sport. Like it's the same with what they did on a sanctional, where they did the touch and go legless rope climb, where you needed to come down below like a tape line, and then you need to go straight back up. You could not like put your feet down in between. Also, like a thing that you would never practice. Like, why would you do that? Coming down is like the easy part.
Hmm.
Here you had to do legless all the way down, touch under the tape, and then go up again. Like that's so hard.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough just
Wow.
lowering yourself down with your arms and then putting yourself back on the floor and having a 5 minute rest. You know what I mean? Never
Oh
mind
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
pinging up and down.
Exactly.
Now you'll see. You'll end up seeing like a weighted legless rope climbs next, won't you? They'll be
Yeah.
like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a weight vest and get yourself up and
Yeah,
down.
probably. Like I don't think that will be too far off um from them like adding that, because so many, especially like male athletes, are getting so good at that. Like they can go up and down like a full day. You're like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Do you really weigh something? Is that like empty, all of your muscles? Looks like you weigh like 35 kilos. What is going on?
Yeah. And then I think it was 20. I watched the highlight. I think it was only like 2 weeks ago when I watched Elijah Muhammad. It was the sprint and the legless rope climb one. And
Oh
obviously
yeah.
he played basketball and he's one of the most
Yeah, he just jumped
explosive
the
people.
full rope.
He just jumped,
Yeah.
did one pull and touched the top. I was
That's
like,
unfair.
that is amazing.
Unfair.
It's unfair, but it's also amazing to watch, you know?
Yeah, I mean, of course he's gonna use that. He's really athletic and he's like really tall and just like really explosive. So that's
Yeah.
awesome for him.
Yeah.
Like for us, like the ladies, who definitely like the shorter ladies as well, we can jump, but it still looks like, we have to climb the whole fucking rope anyway. I jump as high as I can and I'm like, well,
2 feet,
there's
2 foot
some
off the
climbing
floor.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nothing. Especially, when they put like a thick mat under your rope, they're like, we don't want you to fall down. And I'm like, and I don't want to jump from this, so remove it. And if I fall, I die. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I just don't want like to come onto like a thick mat and then, jumping off, and that takes up every like, energy that I put in there, and then just like end up as I would have stepped on the rope anyway.
Yeah, it just absorbs it, right? And you can't
Yes,
actually get any jump,
it's
any height off it.
worthless.
So,
No,
yeah.
no, it's worthless.
Take it off. If I die, I die. That's brilliant.
Yeah, if I die, I die. It's just like, what is going on?
I'd love to have seen that judge. He would have just been like, okay, crazy.
Yeah. They're like, okay. I think they would have been just like, okay, regular CrossFitter, stupid. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
remove the mat.
Absolute mentalist, we'll just die for points.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if she wants to die, let her die.
so what's next? What competition you giving up for? What have you got on your eyes on?
Right now it's definitely the Open coming. So the first 3 weeks, just like getting into the quarterfinals. I don't think that'll be something that will stress too many athletes out. It's 10% of the people in like your region that's going to advance. So I think that'll be fine. But it's that weekend where you like try to qualify for semifinals. That's definitely going to be, on my radar. So I'll try to do the best I can in that one. It's very hard to know where you're at now, since nobody's been competing in such a long time. So I'm hoping that since Sweden stayed open and didn't have a lockdown, and I could train at my gym, like, basically every day, like normal, then I hope that we have some type of advantage in that, but I don't know. So I'm hoping to get into those like top 60 spots in Europe and go as an individual. But yeah, if I don't, we're also gonna go and try to qualify a team. So that's like what's on the radar right now. So we'll see a little bit if how many people qualifies as individuals and how many people wants to go on a team and so on.
Are they still doing
So
sanctionals this year?
no, I don't think so. It's basically those quarterfinals and then semifinals. And the semifinals will be more like sanctionals. So in Europe, there'll be 2, as I understood it.
I was really looking forward to seeing a sanctional hosted in Norway.
Yeah.
I thought that'd have been.
Did you?
Sorry, go on.
Then the Norwegian. Did you go to that?
No, I wanted to go to it. Like, I think it would have been really fascinating.
Yeah, I went
to watch.
to it last year.
What was it like?
It was good. It was good, but it was cold. Definitely.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I would say, we had like one event that was running up a ski slope. That was interesting for sure.
Oh, it's like
but I don't know.
It's like the Red Bull 400.
Oh yeah, but we did it as a team, so it was like, okay, try to get your whole team up here. And then when we came to the top, it was just like turn and go around the full mountain and down.
Oh.
So it's just like, okay, that was hard, but it was fun. But I don't know if they might be one of the events that can host a semifinal. We don't know that yet. I think they're releasing what semifinals there, because like as I got it, so 60 individuals will qualify. The first one that qualifies on top will choose what semifinal she wants to go to. And then like second will choose, third will choose, and then like you can choose coming further down. And there will be 2 to choose from. So you can choose, like, let's say one is in Germany and one is in Norway. And then if all the spots are full in Norway, then I have to choose Germany. But like, yeah, you could choose which one to go to. But they haven't announced what semifinals will, like, what competitions will become semifinals.
It'd be really interesting, and really nice to see if they have a broad spectrum of weather systems, right? So instead of all just being, quite mild or pretty hot, it's now Dubai, Norway. You've got a super rainy landscape. Like, I think it would be really interesting to just see how athletes adapt to that, and then see what athletes come out of it. And then you can actually see, right? You get a bit nerdy. You can dissect into, okay, cool. Like it's the whole thing about there was a fella found in I think north in Norway, right, where he had higher red blood cell count than most people, and he had the same red blood cell count than Lance Armstrong doped to get towards. And it's like, well, that's from the environment that he's in. That's it's biology. You just adapt. And I think it'd be really fascinating to just see all these different things as a species, come together. And then that's the only way we're going to be able to crown the fittest on the entire planet. Because it's like, hey, there's going to be like genetic anomalies that we need to take into consideration, and maybe Jim Bob in the Highlands of bloody Norway that can just go cross country skiing till the cows come home is the fittest on the planet, but he's never allowed that opportunity because he doesn't do well in Dubai or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see that, like, I think on many athletes, like, some people, even the ones you expect to not do so well in like the heat, it might not be the ones you expect to do well, or the ones you expect to do like not well, because like when you watch the games and they did Murph, like some of the athletes who really crashed was like athletes who live in like Australia, and you're like, yeah, well, that's pretty warm. And then some athletes that thrive during those conditions, like Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson, who's like from Iceland, where it's like super cold, and he was just like, they asked him in the interview, like, oh, didn't you think it was warm? He was like, yeah, I thought it was nice, not too cold. You're like, what? So like he didn't even care. He just thought it was nice weather, like sunny. That was good.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely mental.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. You just laughed at it. Just like, okay, yeah, well, good comment. But then that shows, like, even if he's been living in Iceland, well, obviously that did not affect him to do poorly in like warmer conditions. But like Annie, who's also from Iceland, she totally got heat stroke and couldn't even finish the games. So yeah, I think that's really interesting to see.
Yeah, and then also from a training standpoint, it's like, oh, what is the optimum environment and
Oh
weather
yeah.
conditions to train in? Well, maybe it is a
Yeah.
colder environment, maybe it is a warmer environment. Or
Mm,
we know about altitude. Obviously, training at altitude is going to be better. But
yeah,
what about the temperature and things like that?
for
And
sure.
yeah, it is interesting when you see like BKG come out and just smash Murph in like 40
Yeah.
degree heat. You're like, excuse
He's
me?
like, that was warm and nice. You're like,
Yeah, I was
what?
getting a tan whilst I was having a run.
Yeah.
Fucking mental.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, when Cara Webb came back in and obviously the documentary
Jesus. Yeah.
aired, fuck, that was scary. Like not being able to
Yeah.
remember running the last mile.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I mean, when they talk about it and like, yeah, you push yourself, like I definitely recognize, some of the really horrible, feelings about like hitting the wall completely. And like, I usually get, when I get really tired, I like lose like the sensation in my arms tend to go off. Like I can't feel my arms. So I can't kind of feel the body, withdrawing the blood from the arms, just like surrender the arms. Like, let's not care about them. Let's care about getting blood to the heart. And then the legs start to go after that. So like I could definitely, imagine the feeling.
Yeah,
But like usually I only push that hard in the end of a workout. So I know that like, okay, I only have to, withstand this for 30 seconds and then I can fall into a pile on the floor and just like cry.
yeah.
But she did that for like 1 mile. And
That's
then
yeah, that's
obviously she like, yeah, passed out and almost died. No, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I could imagine the feeling, but it's still, I can understand that she felt, very strange afterwards, not even remembering that.
Yeah, it's one thing where your body starts shutting down and you lose sensation, and like you said, your arms
Yeah,
and your legs go. But
exactly.
it's the other one where you're like your eyes start going and you don't know where you are, and like
Yeah,
your head
yeah.
just goes. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy that like she was in that condition and she still ran the right path and she
Yeah,
still found her way back. I mean, that's impressive. If something, you're like, okay, you could still run the track and she could still, run over the field to the finish line.
yeah,
So like that's obviously the only thing her mind was set on, you like crossing the finish line and then whatever happens will happen.
yeah. But imagine if she would have
Cool.
just like she'd have passed the 800-meter mark, not turned around, and just kept
Yeah, just
going.
kept going.
You'd have just been like, what's going on?
Hopefully some volunteer would have been like, Kara, not that way. You can
Yeah,
go here. She's like, ah,
turn
yeah, yeah.
around.
Turn around. Don't keep going. No. Oh wow. Terrible.
And it's the same thing as like acid bath in Dubai, right? It is one of the
Yeah.
funniest things to watch is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when people's legs just don't work. I think it's only funny because I know exactly what that fucking feels like.
Yeah, yeah. I talked to actually Michaela Norman, which is a close friend of mine. She was in Dubai when that event was taking place, and I think she finished. Um, I think Sam Briggs and Michaela finished in the same exact time, so I think they got like a split second place on that one.
Hmm.
And I don't know any person who can withstand like lactic acid more than her. Like I don't know if she even feels it because she's like, super well conditioned. But she was just like, she asked me the other day, she's like, what's your time on acid bath? And I was like, do you think I like willingly did that to myself? And she was like, but haven't you done it? I was like, yeah, I did it in a team competition one time. So like I would go first and then I would like tag in my teammate. But for me, I think in that team setting, I could see when I was like coming off the bike that we were like in quite a solid lead. So I might not have, pushed those last like 2%. So I ran and I like tagged in my body and I was like standing and I was like, yeah, I'm fine, no problem. Oh, no problem. And then like, 10, 15 seconds went by and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then my legs like cramped up. So I had to throw myself on the ground and I started screaming. I was like, somebody get my legs. And then like my friend came over and he just started shaking my legs and I was like, ah, because it came, like 10, 15 seconds after. So I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not fine. I'm definitely not fine. And then everything came over me. So I was like, I did not do that again just to get a time on it. You can
Yeah.
like, stick to your time. I don't care.
The funniest is, yeah, like you said, there's that 15, 30 seconds, maybe even a minute afterwards. And then you just see someone like dry wrenching in the corner. You're just like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Like
it's common.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. You thought you were going to be fine, but you're not.
And then
that was terrible.
Didn't Laura Horvath just walk off after it? Was just like, yeah,
oh yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. But she's such a powerful athlete. I just think also that she was really mad, regarding like her handstand push-ups and everything. It was the thing, like the workout before was the one with the parallel handstand push-ups where she didn't finish and like she couldn't do them. I think she was just like, she was too mad to even feel something. She was just like,
Definitely.
going in with full like aggression on like, I'm gonna win this, I don't care what it takes. And then she just did.
Rage and adrenaline are a beautiful thing sometimes. Like they're just the best painkiller.
Like, she just walked off. Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck
Crazy.
that. Nah.
Yeah.
I remember I programmed like a continuous acid bath. So it's not
what? This sounds terrible.
Yeah, so
a continuous acid bath.
Yeah, hold on. I wasn't as sadistic as it sounds, right? So basically, there was a coached and programmed through a class called Engine Room. So it was more conditioning, metabolic, all that sort of stuff. So we set it up. We didn't have multiple C2 bikes, so it was a Salt bike. So naturally, it was a little bit slower. And I was like, look. I want you to take a little bit off it. I don't want you to go 110%, every round, because you're going to end up throwing up come round one. So I was like, all right, go 90%. So what they did is they came in one shutter door. Obviously, you go through the workout, you go out the other shutter door. We had a lap at the time, which was 320 meters, and that was like a recovery lap. And the idea was you couldn't walk, but you could run the pace of your walk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you had the jog.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but you had to do like the jog style, but you could like do it really slowly.
And as soon as you came back in, you went again. And I think it was, what did you do, 4 or 5 rounds?
Oh, Jesus.
And people were just coming in like crawling through the shutters, just like, I don't want to do this again. And
No. But then as soon as you get on the bike, right, you just start going. You're just like, okay, it said 90%, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
You don't want to start, but when you're started, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna go.
I found
those type of workouts. Wow.
I found on the bike, it doesn't matter how hard you go, it hurts the same.
Yeah, kind of.
So you could cruise on an assault bike and it hurts you. Or you could just send it.
Especially if you're like on the Echo bike. Have you tried that one? The Rogue one?
No, I've not tried the Rogue one.
It's way slower. It's like, biking in sand. Wow.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, so you don't really get that, on the assault bike, you can like kind of ramp it up and you get like some, speed going.
Yeah.
If you do that on the Rogue bike and you just, stop putting in the same effort, it'll just like slow down instantly.
No.
You're like, oh, okay, well, this sucked.
No, I've not used one of those. I like the C2 bikes though.
Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah,
they're cool.
For sure. But they can, for me, if I really would go hard on that one, that can create even more lactic acid than the assault bike, because the assault bike I can still help with my arms, but like on the C2 bike my legs can completely explode and you're like, oh wow, probably I'm gonna die from like some type of poisoning from all of this lactic acid.
Yeah, 100%. Like you feel like your legs are turning to lead. And I've done intervals on the C2 bike and the ski erg.
Oh yeah. Ooh, combo.
So you hop from 1 to 1, and that was horrendous, because obviously you're gripping hold of the handles on the bike and sending it with your legs, but your fucking upper body is absolutely screaming at you.
Yeah.
That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
Terrible combination. Jesus.
Yeah. What was the last workout that made your arms go numb?
It's usually, I redid, let's see, is it 19.5? The one with 33, 27, 21, 59 of chest to bars and thrusters. I did that last Friday. My arms did not really go numb then, because like my arms usually go numb when I have like running or rowing or biking in the end, where I can, really go all out, like For this one, it's like more basically transition time and like just keep going on the thrusters and everything. But that one was like the last one that I did was really terrible. I did Atalanta as well.
Oh yeah.
Like the games workout.
Yeah.
I did that with Camilla Salomonsson Hellman, who is like the girl who's been fittest in Sweden like the past, I don't know, quite a lot of years. So we did that together, but I don't think that was like as bad as people say. Like everyone's like, oh, that's the worst, you know, the worst workout anyone's ever programmed. And I was like, well, it's like a lot of reps, like a lot of pull-ups, and it's a lot of pistols, and it's a lot of handstand push-ups. But at the same time, I don't know, I've done worse. That might sound cocky, but like, yeah, that was not the worst thing ever.
I think Kalsu's worse than that.
Yeah. But that's like, I think it's a different, a different type of hurt. Kind of. It's hard to say what's like the worst, but the one that I remember the most, that's like the worst workout, that was when I joined the team in 2018. And I was like new in the gym, and I felt so much pressure on myself. And I did the one with just the dumbbell squats and the burpees over bar. Do you remember that? It was like 10-1. I like, when I think about it, I get like anxiety, because I pushed myself so hard in that workout, and I was not like anywhere near the fitness I like have today. That this was like 3 years ago, obviously. And I remember I wanted to do like a good score for the team, and I like my legs, I've never felt anything like it. My legs just stopped working when I was like done with the dumbbell squats and the burpees. I remember laying down, and I think I cried for a while, and then someone took off my shoes, and then like I felt like it would be better if I could just die. And then like it took me 3 minutes to even stand up. I couldn't like stand on my own 2 feet. I could not stand. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this clean now. So what am I gonna do about that? Because a squat clean is out of the picture. I'm not gonna be able to like rebend my legs in a week. So I had to do like a straight leg power clean. And it was like, I remember when I got that one on my programming again, I felt, I felt nervous like for a week, because I saw like, okay, I'm going to redo that one on Saturday or whatever. And I actually, I don't think many athletes would like confess to this, but like I was so scared. I was like, okay, I'll go out in a slower pace just to not, I don't want that experience again with this one. Like, even if I'm fitter now, I don't want that to happen again. I don't want it to have this power over me. So I'll just do it and, not get that feeling, and then fuck this. And then I'll move on with another workout. So if it's a repeat of that one, but with just one dumbbell, I'll be mad at Dave Castro. That's for sure.
That's broken a memory. I remember that one vividly, because I went head to head with a good mate of mine, and I lived with him at the time. And he was fitter than me, right? And I was just like, which is always good, because you're going to push him. I was just always going to push you. And I was just like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to sell my soul to beat this boy in this workout. And I think I might beat him by a second. You know what I mean? It was like,
still worth it.
It was head to head, and I crawled around the gym.
Jeez.
Like I was the same. My legs couldn't work.
Yeah. No. I was just like, am I paralyzed? Like, what happened? Like, did something break? Like, are my legs supposed to feel like this? Because I don't know if I still have the video, but it's like, I remember like I just lay down and like make weird noises. Someone takes my shoes off because I want lifting shoes on. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. And then I'm like, I can't stand. And then someone helps me up, and I was like, I can't walk. And they're like, you have to do a clean now. And I think I do like, 2 cleans in the end of the workout.
It's the simple
with
ones
straight legs.
With straight leg, just muscle
with straight
cleaned
legs. Yeah, 100% I did. 100%. I could not like rebend my legs. That was like not possible. was not even like there was not even a question of if I would do a squat clean or if I would do like a low power clean. Never. Just like rip it.
Just
Jesus.
get your spine involved. Just it's not going to
Oh
be
yeah.
pretty. Like it was
Go
like
full
that.
spinal.
It's like that front squats, right? And the
Oh,
last year, like some of those videos that came up. My God.
Jesus. Yeah. You just like you put your hand in front of your eyes and you like look between your fingers. You're like,
Yeah.
ah.
Did they get it? Okay, good job.
Yeah,
Just
good.
like,
Did he break his back? I don't know. Okay.
yeah.
Jesus.
That's sport for you, you know. People will literally die for points that mean nothing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. That workout's gonna give me PTSD.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
one, and to be fair, the last one that you said with the 33, because I remember finishing the first round of thrusters, never mind the
Yeah.
first round with the chest to bar, first round of
Yeah.
thrusters, and I didn't know where I was.
You're like, oh Lord, 33 is too many. Where the
like,
fuck am I?
Fuck, I am in a bad place. Nah, because like
No.
they split the
Jesus.
room, and the because it was the last one, there was a crowd and we had a DJ and I was coaching all day
Ooh.
and then judging all evening, and the crowd came in, so we had like the tiniest space. I was dehydrated. I'd not eaten in hours, and it was fucking boiling. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to like put on a show, work out a little bit. I've been kicking everyone's ass all evening, so I might as well. Yeah, I finished that 33rd thruster, and I looked at my judge. I was like, oh no.
You like huge mistake. Huge mistake. No, I went into it like I didn't do it during the Open because that year, the 2019, like the first Open, I decided to qualify for sanctional separately instead and not doing the Open because I had like, I put so much pressure on myself in 2018. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And if I can do it another way, I'm going to do that. And then I decided to re-enter into the Open like 2020, like the later one. So I did like the recent Open. And that felt so much better because then I could just like, chill a little bit more. But so I didn't really know like what score I would we're supposed to aim for. So I looked at like some of my friends from Sweden who's like pretty fit, and I looked at what they got, and then I looked at their videos like, okay. And I mean, even like some of the like top 5 fittest women in Sweden like still divided the thrusters like 12, 10, and then 9 or 12. What is it then? No, 15, 12, 9. It has to be, right? Or 10 or whatever, in 3 different like sections at least. So I decided like, okay, I'm going to do that as well. Like I'm going to, take a quick break and then just move on, like working with the thrusters. And then I'm going to divide the chest to bar equally. So I'll just like be able to jump up fast and just keep reps going. And then like what's like my specialty is to not rest too long. So I can break stuff up quite like a lot, but I'll rest for like 2-3 seconds and I'll just go again instead of, doing like a really big set and then rest for like 30 seconds. So I just did that throughout the workout, and it was really horrible, but still I was like, okay, this is survivable. So it's fine.
I think it was a really enjoyable workout.
What was your time then?
Oh, no idea. It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
No, that's not too long ago. It was only 2019. 19.5. It's 2 years.
It wasn't 19. It was 18, right?
Yeah. No, 19. Because if it was 18, I would have done it before, and I didn't. It was 19. One of the 19 Opens, because there was 2. Do you remember? Like one in the spring and one in the fall.
Oh, was that 2019, not last year?
Yeah, so 2019 was like the spring one was the one with this workout, and then the second one they called 2020 because it was for the 2020 season.
That's the one I didn't do. I didn't do I tell a lie. I jumped into a couple classes and did it with some members. I think I did one at 6 a.m., one in the evening, but that was the time that I was moving over here. So I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to get them all done. I'm not going to enter.
Then you can just like, do them for fun and not care too much.
Do them for fun.
For fun. Yeah. Citation marks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun once it's done.
Yeah, almost every time, except for when your legs stop functioning and you think you're paralyzed. Then it's not.
That workout legitimately is going to give me PTSD.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck. I hope that's one of those that never, ever gets repeated.
Ever show up. Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
I think
did. What was that one with the 100 double unders in between every round? I did it the Friday.
Also the one with the toes to bar and the what is it?
Nah, it's the one with the muscle ups, the overhead squat, both muscle ups, bar and rings.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah.
I think
that was 2018 as well. 2018 as well.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it on the
remember
Friday.
doing that. Yeah.
I practiced it on the Saturday and then I did it again on the Monday.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
And my calves were fucked up.
Yeah. I can guess. Jesus, I remember doing that because I was sick. I remember like I couldn't get into the gym on Friday, so I had to do it on Monday. And I was like, I was doing it with a guy from the team, Oscar, and he like tried to, encourage me. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be well. And I'm like, I'm still coughing and everything is terrible. And he's like, no, you're gonna do fine. And I was like, as long as I get to the ring muscle ups and can get a couple of ring muscle ups in, because that's gonna stop a lot of people. And then let's see what the fuck happens. But that was terrible. I had to stop in the middle of my double unders, just like stand and, coughing. And I was like, okay, let's get on with the double unders again. And then like I had to, it was crazy. That open was terrible. I want to think back to the 2020 Open instead of the 2018, because that was just like anxiety for 5 weeks and terrible.
Oh, it's true, isn't it? With the 5 weeks, like it's a long time and everyone just gets so anxious.
Yeah, terrible. So I like this one way more, where it's 3 weeks, where maybe as a like semi-professional athlete, you don't really have to worry to get into the 10%. And then it's like 1 weekend where you push it to the max, like it would have been in a competition. And then you'll see who does the best of it. And then it's only 1 weekend where you have to be like very nervous. And then, you're done. Kinda.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an interesting season. Whoever lives, will see.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to find the fittest, right? They're going to find someone who's the fittest, whatever way they choose to skin the cat. Although, there might be an asterisk saying Fraser didn't compete or whatever. But...
Oh yeah, for sure. There'll always be. I think that's like the reason, kind of like, to end when you're like at your fittest and at your best. No one's ever going to be able to really claim that title when he's still around. Like, it's almost a little mean to the guys coming up now and, competing at the games 2021 and like, yeah, you're fittest, but not really.
Yeah, I just relate it back to sport, because obviously we're trying to make it into a sport. I'm like, hey, like you could be like world champion and dominating your sport, but if you retire, you're no longer in the game. Like you can't be the best. Like you were the best.
And he wouldn't be the best either. Like he's not training the way he did like the previous year. So probably they would kick his ass if he came there. Yeah. Like, but still, just knowing that nobody ever really beat him on the competition floor, I think that'll be hard, to swallow for some guys. But well, Fraser has been Fraser.
Fuck, he absolutely dominated.
Yeah. Wow. I think that was like a psychological thing as well. Like people couldn't beat him because they didn't think they could beat him.
Yeah. So, I think that's so true. Like, especially when you're just like, oh, I'm next to a god. I'm like, no one's a god.
Yeah.
Like
he's definitely not unbeatable.
No.
But very hard to beat.
Everyone's hard to beat,
Yeah.
It just depends how you look at it. I really appreciate your time, boss.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of fun talking to you. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, 100%. Jump on whenever you want.
Awesome.
Come shoot the shit. And good luck in the Open. That's like 3 weeks. I want to say 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, I think. Thank you so much. And maybe we can catch up and see if I earn my individual spot or if we go team and whatever happens.
You'll be going on to a next stage, either or.
Hopefully. Yeah, right. Hopefully.
Yeah, you will. You will.
Okay. Thank
Go
you so
crush it.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Have
Have
a
a good
good day.
evening.
Bye.